All right, so we just wrapped up the Epic Bet Show where I'm sure I beat you. Like, I'm guaranteeing that I'm beating you again. I didn't cheat. He's accusing me of cheating. I've beat him now 3 years in a row.
Yeah, I'm not a good bettor.
Yeah, because you go here.
I do. I go here.
Right?
I do. I get
here.
too deep in the weeds, too.
He worries about the third corner and their yeah, exactly. We are joined by an absolute legend, Daryl Moose Johnston, Super Bowl winner, really good broadcaster. We've had you here at Bleacher Report a few times. You are compliments of Liberty Tax. And Sims, when you get older and sponsors want to come to you, you need to be as good as Daryl because he is the greatest spokesperson I've ever met. Are you ready?
Yep.
Liberty Tax. Why?
Well, we all need a game plan, right? Whether it's for life or for a football game, we need that for tax season as well. And there's been a lot of changes to what's going on with the tax code. We see it on Capitol Hill. We can't rely on the politicians to get it fixed. So, we want Liberty Tax. We want to go to Liberty Tax. They're going to help us create a game plan. And whether you do it on your own, you can go to libertytax.com. They've got all the tools there. If you really want to walk this road on your own, they'll let you do that. But I recommend you find a location nearby in your community.
Yeah.
Go to one of their certified planners, sit down with him, map out your game plan there because there's some changes from last year. For example, I didn't know about this. Over 30 million Americans will not get their tax refund until at least the end of February, where Liberty Tax will show you ways to enable access to up to $3,250 of your tax fund as early as January 2nd.
Expedite that process.
Exactly. Get some money in your pocket, get your plan in place, and then enjoy tax season if you possibly can.
Yeah.
Not possible. I actually.
Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, well done. I mean, the guy, does he get paid for a living to talk or what?
I mean, but the true thing is I'm listening to this, I'm like, God, I got to get my taxes done.
Well, you know,
I know,
what's
right?
funny is,
and now Sims is on NBC, so his tax bracket's crazy.
well, my financial advisor and the guy that takes care of my taxes just died. So if your financial advisor out there dies, go to Liberty Tax Plan.
Exactly.
Okay? That's where I might be going.
It's
I'm
your
actually
first
gonna
time
look that
out
up
there
later.
this year. You don't want to swim those waters on your own.
Yes, I definitely
Absolutely
don't.
not.
I just make the money and then my wife spends it and then
There
we
you
try
go.
to figure it
we
out.
have the big wigs. Hold on. What do you think? If your tax advisor dies, go to Liberty Tax. I think it sells itself.
I think it
That's
does,
amazing.
too.
All right, you're doing Rams Cardinals.
I am.
Which means you just studied Cardinals Jaguars. And me and Sims were like, man, what did you think of that game? What'd you think?
I'm a Blaine Gabbert fan. I have been. I've cheered for him for a while.
He was the best quarterback in that game.
He's a guy. We had him in Jacksonville, and then we had him a couple of years later, and when he was with San Francisco. And I thought he'd really kind of filled out. And I always go back to the Phillip Rivers thing, right? When Phillip came out, he was a tall, skinny, lean guy, and then Phillip got big and kind of thick. And Blaine reminded me a little bit of that, but. Right now for Arizona, what's going on with their offensive line, they need somebody with Blaine's mobility.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Carson and Drew are just getting clobbered back there because that line is like a sieve. So
man.
Yeah,
they've been playing a little bit better as of late.
He does. Yeah, you're right. They have been, certainly. All right, first of all, wait. I want to see your ring. So you're wearing... That's
30.
the fifth one, so that's 30. I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is very special to me. All right. So you know me. I want to ask him some history questions.
Of course.
First, Lefkoe. Okay. That is so awesome.
What are you feeling?
I was a Cowboys fan at this point
Troy
because my
Aikman
dad
was
is
your
retired,
guy.
and I love Troy, and I think I've told Moose that before.
What are you feeling putting that on?
It's really a special ring. I mean, this is where I want to go. This is one of the greatest teams in the history of football. And my dad would always say the '92 Cowboy team he played.
Yes,
that was the best team he ever. That was okay, because he always said that was the best team he ever played against.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what he said.
compliment.
Even against those great
The Bears,
49ers team and the Bears and all them. So that is amazing. But all right, so why is the '92 team the best out of your three championship teams?
Oh gosh, young, athletic,
Right.
maybe naive to the fact how good we were. No egos at all.
Yeah.
The ultimate teammates. Charles Haley, great mentor on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
Just explosive guys on the offensive side of the ball. You're going to try and stop the run. We're going to beat you with Novacek and Irvin and Harper and Williams. Oh, you're going to back off of that. Okay, now we're just going to pound the ball.
Right.
So it was kind of pick your poison. We got into this discussion earlier today, and it was about individual matchups.
Yeah.
We just felt like. Are you going to try to stop the run? You're going to try to stop the pass.
Right.
It went beyond the individual matchup. Can you match us trying to stop the run or trying to stop the pass? And we felt you wouldn't be able to do either.
Right. Okay. All right. One more thing with this. I know.
I was just going to say we had Isaac Bruce in this chair like 2 hours ago, and he was saying the same thing. You're going to stop Marshall, you're going to stop the pass.
Exactly.
The best offenses you can't stop either.
Yeah, it's
All right,
it's
go with your
impossible.
history.
All right, the last thing I want to just say with the history lesson is so when you played at those times, 92, 93, 94, which people I don't think remember, if they call pass interference on Deion Sanders,
Right.
you might go to You're going to go to the Super Bowl again, and you're going to beat the 49ers. But in those years, when you had to play the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, who was better? And this is no disrespect, but when you beat the 49ers in 92, 93, did you go, they're better than the Bills, we're going to be okay? I mean,
No,
no.
we didn't.
Okay.
And there was a lot of talk at that time that the NFC Championship game was the real Super Bowl.
Right.
But we never felt that way. Not with Buffalo. Not with. I mean, and they've proven that to be true, right?
Yes.
Kelly, Smith.
Yeah, it was so
Andre
talented.
Reed, Thurman Thomas,
Right.
Tasker. I mean, it was just. I mean, throughout Phil Hansen, it was a tremendously talented team.
Yeah.
So we had the utmost respect for them both times. And then the third time we went for Super Bowl 30, it was that whole Cowboy Steeler.
Pittsburgh, right.
There was that. Roger was excited as anybody when we beat Pittsburgh that day.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that was a thorn in the side of Roger Staubach.
I'm sure it was. Yeah, that's unbelievable. That was an awesome game to be at.
How old were you then?
I was, let's see, so that was 95, 96 Super Bowl, and I was a freshman in high school, so I was really starting to become a pretty good high school quarterback, and Troy was my guy, and of course, who didn't love Deion Sanders?
Of course.
The playmaker coming out and, doing his dance. Like, that was, they were new to that stuff.
That was a time in my life where I just assumed that the Dallas was in the Super Bowl every year. Like, because it was every freaking year I looked up as an Eagles fan and was like, oh, well, we got Rodney Peete trying to get us there. This is going to be great.
But you got in 90 and 91.
Talk about that defense.
Oh, my God.
We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
About
85 Bears, 2000 Ravens. I still say it's a backseat to the 90 or 91 Philadelphia Eagles.
Big Phil would say the same thing.
Man,
Dad would say that was the best.
We scored 10 points on him one time. We had a party in the locker room. Woo! That's 10 points.
Right. That's unbelievable. Go ahead, Lefkoe. You want to go?
I was going to go current stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about great defenses. That Jaguars defense, where would you put that up against? Because we are just amazed by them every week right now, the current Jaguars defense. Where do you think that stacks up?
Up and coming. I don't know where it's going to be historically. I think they've got a little bit more work to do.
Sure.
This is really the first year in that system. But Barry Church said when he left Dallas and went to Jacksonville, he said, this secondary is better than the secondary, and I left Dallas. And he goes, and I think overall as a defense, this is a group that nobody really knows about.
Right.
And everybody's kind of like, yeah, of course you're going to say that. You just signed a nice contract down there.
Right.
But, what they did in the draft with Jalen Ramsey. Barry Church is still probably, when you talk to Cowboy fans, the one that got away.
He did.
God, couldn't we find a way to get Barry Church signed? Are we going to lose everybody on the back end?
The crazy thing about the Jaguars is I think everyone on the defense is under contract until 2019.
Wow.
So they're going to be together for a few years to watch Ramsey and Bouye and all those guys grow, and Calais Campbell.
Yep.
Your former team plays Thursday night.
Yeah.
Dallas, Washington.
Scary.
I'm a believer that too much is being put on Dak. If I said before this season, all right, Dak, you have to have the same year, but no running back. Half your offensive line's gone. Your wide receiver gets older, and your defense deteriorates. But you need to play at the same level. I think it's asking too much of him right now. That's my perception.
Well, the big thing is even playing where he played last year. That was a great season.
Yes.
104.7 in the quarterback rating, 2 interceptions all season long. It was a phenomenal year. And I told people this year, listen, if he falls a little short statistically of what he did last year, that's still a really good season.
No doubt.
And then without the injuries, the other pieces should pick up for it. The one thing that's been troubling is just the plays on the outside, the explosive plays on the outside. Where are they at? Why can't Dez get the separation? Why can't they, come up with a combination, some kind of concept that takes advantage of where the guys are right now? So they're not built to go 8 plays, 10 plays, 12 plays all the way down the field. They need that chunk. And right now we're seeing Ezekiel was the guy that provided that.
Yeah, please.
The only guy that provided that.
Talk about him as an ex-fullback, and just when you go to practice at Dallas and see him, because as in person, he's such a specimen.
Yeah.
To you, where does he rank, or not where he ranks, but what's he like to see in person and your respect level for him?
He's a lot thicker than you think.
Right.
I mean, shoulders, traps.
Right, like you can't
just
stick
rolled.
a knife in him.
Exactly, exactly.
Bend.
And to me, the first time I knew it was when he hit Cam Chancellor last year in the
Oh,
preseason.
the preseason.
And
that
knocked
was
him back,
the coming out
and
party.
Cam came and hit him, and then he went right back after Cam.
Right.
So I was like, ooh,
That was
so
awesome.
he's got a little bit of got a little bit of that
Yes,
as well.
a little bit of
So-
asshole in him.
Yeah,
Think
like
about
that.
that game. That game was the Zeke coming out party and
the Dak coming out
Dak. I mean, that preseason game was monumental when you think about what the Cowboys are right now.
It was.
Damn. All right, so Zeke is incredible, and you said what? He's the best offensive player in the league?
I mean, I think he's certainly in that discussion. I don't think people gave him enough credit for the fact that when there's nothing there, he would still get 2 or 3. Or when we see 15-yard runs by Alfred Morris now, that could have been 40 and 50-yard runs with Ezekiel Elliott, and that can't be quantified in stats. And I just have been trying to, on our podcast, to kind of let people know they're missing that element
He's
of their team.
still mad that Dak won Rookie of the Year over Zeke.
Yeah, I am.
That's a tough one. It was a tough one. And now, who was more important to that team last year?
Right.
Now.
Yes.
So it could be Zeke.
Yeah.
Could be Zeke.
All right. So let's just talk, since you work for Fox, NFC. The NFC is pretty damn good this year.
It is. Great games down the stretch too. Crazy games down the stretch.
Right. They're all playing each other, so it's awesome.
Yeah. This weekend it's Minnesota, Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Seattle.
Man, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
It really
is.
is.
And then next week, we already talked about it. Next week's 14 is unbelievable.
So I know you haven't seen all of them in person or whatever, but I just what's your take of the teams you've seen in person out of the upper echelons? To Carolina, I'm going to throw them in that bunch too. Just who's impressed you through study and seeing them in person?
Caught Carolina kind of on the upswing. Cam had gotten healthy again, started to run the football a little bit more.
Right.
I like Carolina's defense. They're still a defensively driven team. The Rams we saw against the Cowboys, Sean McVay said that was kind of their coming out party.
Yeah,
they came from behind in Dallas, and that was kind of like, oh, hey, we're better than we thought we were.
Right.
And I think they're more in a positive frame of mind now than they were then. I got to see New Orleans against them. I've got to see Minnesota against them. I don't know how Zimmer does it up in Minnesota. He loses, quarterback, running back 2 years ago, quarterback, running back again this year, still finding a way to win. The one dark horse I have is New Orleans right now. Everybody says, well, they're a dome team. They're built to win in the dome. Not this year.
No.
Not this year. Now, I know Buffalo is not that great.
Right.
And especially when New Orleans played them, they were struggling a little bit, but they housed them. It was unbelievable to watch. 300 yards rushing?
Yes.
That's a day in the NFL. So this is a team that can go into Philly, can go into Seattle, can go anywhere they want to go because they run the ball, they play good defense, and if that's not working, oh, by the way, we got this Breeze guy back here.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They might be able to find a way to beat you.
Yeah, I hear you. I know. And people have slept on them, and now they're starting to jump on the bandwagon. As soon as they jumped on the bandwagon, they lost to the Rams.
Yeah, but that to me impressed the Rams. They lose to Minnesota, badly.
Yeah.
They come back and they beat what a lot of people consider to be the hottest team in the NFL.
Right.
Now the follow-up for me, great response. What are you going to do against Arizona?
I know.
A team that you're supposed to beat.
Right.
Can you beat teams you're supposed to beat right now as a young and up-and-coming team?
Yeah.
There was one guy that picked the Saints to win the South in media. Who was that?
It was me.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Nice call.
He saw the tea leaves.
I mean, you know me. I'm a little obsessed with this damn thing, so I paid. Also, I just, I take a shot in the dark. Sun shines on a dog's ass every now and then.
I just thought Atlanta would respond better. I wasn't buying into the whole Super Bowl hangover thing, not with Dan Quinn running the show, but I didn't realize the Sarkisian adjustment would be as much as it was.
Yes, right. Yeah, I know. People, Kyle Shanahan was pretty special with what he was doing with that talent group around him. He made him even look better.
You didn't talk about the Eagles. Are they the best of all of them? Or is it closer than the media's making it out to be?
When they're on, everybody said, well, they haven't played anybody. Okay, they haven't played anybody, but they've won by 28, 28, 28, and 23 the last month. So, yeah, they're not playing anybody, but they're whooping everybody they're playing. Yeah. So, let's just throw that out. To me, the biggest thing is their defense is completely underrated, and that's with Darby coming back. Yeah. Fletcher Cox, maybe the most dominant interior guy, and that's with Aaron Donald and guys like that in the NFC. Fletcher Cox can wreck a game. Their personnel is perfect for Schwartz's style. And so as we're looking at this offense and Wentz, and oh my gosh, look at all the receivers. Aguilar's playing great. Torrey Smith was a great addition, and Alshon Jeffrey was a great addition. And what are you going to do with Ertz? And then, oh, geez, we forgot about the defense.
Yeah,
the special teams are really good.
And they run the ball on you.
And they run and the funny thing is we said, well, why would you take Jay Ajayi when you've got LeGarrette Blount and Smallwood and Clement? Those are good running backs. The response is always, didn't want Dallas to get him. Everybody thought Dallas was going to go grab, Ajayi because of the suspension.
Yeah.
What was it like to talk to Sean McVay? What did you glean from a 31-year-old head coach?
He's not 31. I mean, he may be 31 in age, but he's very impressive, very mature. I think one of the coolest things was, and we got it from the people in the organization, when they went to do the interview, they're like, how are we going to justify doing an interview for the head coaching position with a guy that's 31?
Right.
And then when he left, they're like, okay, how are we not going to hire the 31-year-old who just walked out of this building? I mean, he is that impressive.
What is it? So you sit down with a lot of coaches. What did he do that caught your attention?
he's prepared even for us. So when he sits down and he is prepared for Chris Myers, myself, Laura Oakman, and the questions that we're asking and what our background is, you know how detail-oriented he is with everything else he's doing. And just his demeanor. He's extremely confident in what he's doing. He's very positive. He doesn't really criticize anybody. Even on the other side, he's very complimentary. And you can just see that he's created a feeling. And now you're starting to hear Robert Quinn and some of the Alec Ogletree starting to kind of talk. They've shifted their thought process where they've got a swagger to them.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from Sean.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, we saw, I mean, the speech that he gave after the win, he was like, this is young Gruden.
Yeah.
This is
I got chills down my spine because I was like, damn, I feel like I've heard this speech before. I mean,
probably a little bit of it, right?
The demeanor is so similar. Of course, he started out as the quality control guy with Gruden. I just feel like some of his mannerisms are spot on.
He walks like his
he's mini Gru. He really is. All right, other thing, just this time of the year, it's Hall of Fame time of the year. Your take on like fullbacks in the Hall of Fame. It's an issue in my book. I mean, kickers getting in, no disrespect to Jerry Jones, but your owner gets in. Oh, gosh, I mean, he's protecting his billion-dollar investment, and he's putting time and money into the league, and he gets in the Hall of Fame. Where do you stand with all that? It just bothers me that you guys don't get enough respect.
Yeah, there's certain players that maybe not players, but positions. The fact that it took Ray Guy, as long as it took Ray Guy to get in. There's very few positions where you can say who's the greatest ever to play this, and it's going to be almost unanimous.
Yes.
I would say punter is probably one of those.
Yeah.
And for the fact that it took Ray Guy that long to get in, you should get in on your own merit. Now, the funny thing with fullbacks, everybody, when we get into this conversation, I said, well, there's 5 of them in there right now, and then it's Jim Taylor, Jim Brown, Marion Motley. I mean, it's Larry Zonka. It's the old fullback when he was a runner. He was the featured runner.
Right.
Tom Rathman has to, the thing that bothers us is we don't get to the final 25
never
to have a conversation about.
Right.
We know we're not getting in, but Tom needs to be in the final 25.
Right.
He's the guy that led the way for a decade of guys.
Hey, screw Tom, you do. Okay? I like Tom. Screw that. You were leading rusher of all time.
Matsui. Matsui had it before I did with Walter Payton.
Yes.
Matt's never been to the final 25.
I just don't understand that. It really bothers me about the whole process.
Well, the thing that bothers me is when we get to the point where we have, I just went blank on his name, Mick Tingelhoff. When Fran Tarkington has to explain to everybody, and you can see Mick standing there, and he really doesn't know, he can't appreciate the evening because we wasted so much time getting him into the Hall of Fame when he had the credentials years ago to enjoy that moment along with his family. That's the disappointing thing to me. Kenny Stabler didn't get in until he had passed away. He goes in post-mortem. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, right.
So I like the exclusivity of it, but there has to be a happy medium somewhere where we're not putting these guys in a position that their family celebrates as they go in after they've passed away, or we're at a point where we can't even enjoy it.
If that happens to me, like my father, I'm going to go up there and give a speech. I'm going to take his head and go, no thanks, we're not in it. I'm taking this home with me.
You're just going to put under your arm.
I'm going to go, this is my dad. The hell with you guys. I'm taking him home.
And you're going to cut the sleeves off the jacket and make it a tank top. Hey, you know what? The problem with fullbacks, it's a number game. And
without a doubt,
they don't have the statistics. But you know what you do if you have numbers right around that February? You go to Liberty Tax.
Exactly.
One more before we get out of here.
One more before we go. Go to libertytax.com.
Bang.
That way you're going to be able to find out whether you want to do the plan yourself or you want one of the certified planners to help you out. You find a location in your community.
Daryl,
awesome.
Moose, Johnston, future Hall of Famer on the pot.
Yeah.
Hey.
You're the man.
Always good to see you guys.
Great having you, man.
Congrats on the new digs.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.